with the corner. In swinger from him. It goes over everyone, it's loose and it's into the back of the net, and Simba have taken less than 4 minutes to open the scoring. And he said, Ura, who scored a really tiny equaliser on match day 5 to rescue a point for 10-man Simba away to Petro in Angola. And now, that was a late goal on that occasion. On this occasion, it's a very early one for the Ivorian. Pushing, shoving in the box. And alert to the danger. And needed no second invitation to fire home. And that is only the second goal that Stade Malien have conceded in the entirety of the group phase. And a celebration to come as well from Anasen Ura, who found his first goal of the competition last week, and now he's got 2. And Simba might have a double as well in these early stages. Real opportunity. Sanjo with the save. Well, that would have been something else for Simba. What a start it would have been. Abdallah Selemani, Mwalimu with the pressing, and then a really poor finish, let's say tame, in the end. Oh, what a start to this game. Free kick awarded the Malians' way. Going in on Zimana Sindara. Deep delivery, it's going to need to come back into the middle, but it's awkward white and surprisingly hard ball to steer back into the centre. And it'll be a goal kick, and it goes the way of the Tanzanians. Shot cleared off the line at one end. Save from the goalkeeper when a very presentable opportunity. Here's this extraordinary moment from Derek. Look at that. The pass absolutely off. We've had a goal as well, and look at that. You can see we've only played 6.5 minutes. So Simba should have stayed like this. We'll be getting their first 3 points of the campaign. Stade Malien would be suffering their first defeat of the campaign. Down the left-hand side, Stade Malien go. Looking for an instant response, unable to fashion it. Over the top. Simba again on the charge. This is so much better. Ura once again. He's got options to his left. Strike a goal against the post. And this surely should be turned in, and instead it is over the bar. Well, it could so easily have been 3-0 to Simba, and we're still in the only 10 minutes. Ura again it was who forced the save out of Tanja. Two players to his left, but chose to strike a goal. Tanja getting a touch, and then the follow-up blazed over by Selemani. Mwalimu with the goal at his mercy. Very possibly the defender on the ground doing enough to put him off. Well, there is in truth little for these sides to play for in terms of moving around position in the table. That's because Stade Malien, whatever happens today, will finish top of Group D. And Simba, whatever happens today, will finish bottom of Group D. And I'm sure the Malians will be really keen to hold on to their unbeaten record. This is a good run down the right-hand side and a nice pick out as well, but it cleared away, not for long. Nicely broken up, Alassane Conte, but then he just gets caught a little bit in possession, so the free kick goes his way. From here, no foul rewarded after Daouda Koulibaly went down. And here is Koulibaly again. Confident run and a hand around the neck as well. It's not going to be helping him. Yusuf Kagoma with the challenge. For the referee, Godfrey Kakananga from Malawi, leading an all-Malawian refereeing crew. So an opportunity for the group leaders to achieve parity. Straight at goal and tipped over and tipped behind. And that'll be Stade Malien's first corner of the game. No chances going to be taken. By the Simba goalkeeper, Mamadou Tanja. And Swing again, right down the gullet. Duriak with the header away. At the expense of another corner. Taking it short, Stade Malien. Break on the edge of the box, chance here. Yeah, the striker goal. And then the opportunity for the break, and that's going to be a yellow card. Rueful expression from Abdul Sabur Bode. Falls over on the ball, Malien, but still they come forward, Simba. Good, solid defending from Bode. Just a throw in, no more. Played forward. Stade Malien just briefly in behind, but that's an outstanding block from Duriak to prevent any further ground down that right-hand side by Stade Malien. And Zumana Simba in particular. Outswinger, it's where it goes. Punch away. The Stade Malien head may well get back onto that. I'm not entirely sure what the aim of that was, but in the end it is in the arms of Tanja. Nicely forward from Panzu. Panzu. He had David committed to his right-hand side, chose not to use him. There's a much better intensity about Simba than we've seen in some of the matches in this group phase. Again. Panzu. Just taking it away. Looking to play it in down the left-hand side and did well to keep that in. Still they come forward. This is really nice from Simba. Well, as he clipped from behind, that's well, he's got his arms up in the air, but a lovely move down that left-hand side. Well, the Towns to the inside. Tanja comes a long way from goal. And infringement spotted and blown for as well. You joined us less, and he said Ura opened the scoring for the home side with just 4 minutes on the clock. Koulibaly asking a lot of Francis Awine, but he's done well to make it, but the cross doesn't match up to the run. And now looking to counter Simba. And Panzu again. Walimu in the middle. Ura in a lot of space if they can pick him out. Here is Ura. Oh, that was taken off his toes in the nick of time by Awine the Ghanaian. Really good bit of covering from the left-sided fullback. Look at that. Had to be there. Oh, just about to pull the trigger. Well, he's got Kuchu on the back of his shirt. It is Kometa. Outswinger from Chapman, doesn't be the first man. Acrobatic clearance away. That's a solid challenge coming in as well. Yasu, the player down. No hard feelings. Some full-blooded challenges coming in. Space now. Can they get the delivery in? Well, it's behind Mwalimu. Hadn't even got that far. Bode. Space inside, picked up by Hamad Manjol, but he's wrestled off the ball. And he concedes the free kick as well under the pressure from Kegoma. Hamon. Played. Yeah, well, they have been up until that point not on the same wavelength. Out from Bode again. Musa Jallo. Hamon. Madu Bello. And Koulibaly. Koulibaly into the middle. And this could be interesting. Into the middle it goes, but cleared away. Vitally so by Kebeta. Stade Malien thought that throw should have gone their way. Well, Stade Malien, who have done it so well in this competition so far, have chosen to rest a few players for this game, most prominent amongst them Thaddeus Nkeng, the Cameroonian striker. Well, forward, he's got 5 goals to his name in the competition so far. He was at risk of missing the next game if booked, so he is not even in the squad today as Simba come forward trying to double their lead. They've also used today's game to bring in a few players who don't always play, rest those who do, the likes of Mamadou Chori, the skipper, not even in the matchday squad, like Nkeng. So the Stade Malien coach just choosing to protect his key men, knowing full well that the hard task of qualifying has been done. Durick just clattered into by Gilbert Asamoah. Appointed in December, so just 2 months in charge now, barely. He'll get there next week, the 2-month anniversary as it were. Formerly in charge of Stellenbosch in South Africa. The South African actually met Stade Malien twice with Stellenbosch in the Confederation Cup last season, winning at home, losing away. Spent 8 years with the South African side before taking charge of Simba. And there was a hugely successful period with Stade as well, winning promotion to the top flight, winning a trophy in the top flight, a Carling Knockout Cup trophy. Strike from distance, just whistles past the post. Sprawling in goal was N'Golo Traore. The strike coming in from distance from Alisson. Conte struck it well enough, but was always off target. And just to go back to Barker, also managed to achieve back-to-back qualifications for the Confederation Cup, which was a real feat for his side. Now, of course, it's a step up, but sadly, it's just going to be a very brief Champions League experience for Barker. Maybe the remaining 65 minutes or so in this game. Played again from Simba there, finding space and exploiting it. Kameta threading it through, or trying to do so, but cut out to the back. So that's a lovely touch on the fullback. Panzu. Kick over. And another foul goes the home side's way. Nicely round the corner. Kameta just one to aim at, all the way through, and no chances taken by Bode. And the back post just to turn that behind for a corner. Really good ball in from Kameta. Right into the danger area, looking for Mwalimu. And if he'd got a touch, that could have been difficult for N'Golo Traore in the Stade Malien goal. Deeper on this occasion, and Traore does really well to gather and hold. Beaten for only the second time in the group stage by that early strike from Ura. He has, up until today, he had remarkably kept 7 clean sheets in his 9 appearances. Traore, there he is in blue, played every single minute of the campaign for Stade Malien, just as have Babe Diarra, the central defender. Here he is, number 5, and also Amadou Bello, central midfielder who wears 12. Another not to have missed a minute of this historic campaign for Stade Malien. a man down. Tomato that. So he didn't make the infringement. Just a little bit too forceful for the eyes of the referee. On Kameta. Went out in stages, but he's drawn the free kick, drawn the foul, and he's going to stay down as well, the 26-year-old. Tug from Hamel. There's down. He only joined Simba last month after a spell in Finland and Europe. He's a former Stellenbosch player, so he was brought in by Barker Ura, trusting those he's worked with before, and look how he has been rewarded as well. 2 goals in the last 2 group games. Simba go looking for a second. That's a really good ball in. Well, Traore came and missed, and Durick was there. He couldn't take advantage. Actually didn't read the ball coming his way. He could have been put off by the dive from the goalkeeper as well. Look at that, through massive bodies. And he had very little idea. The South African central defender may well have come off this thigh before going behind. Traore, meanwhile, will receive some treatment, the 26-year-old. He's played every single minute, so they wouldn't want to be losing him here. As we see Ura's goal again. He's just found a pocket of space, and there's the ball ricocheted his way. Traore on the wrong side of play. Ura buried. His second Champions League goal in as many games. Chance to get some tactical message over, a chance to get some water in as well. Fans are enjoying their afternoon and what they've seen so far. Traore just clearly unhappy with the challenge on him as he perceives it. And he's talked himself into a yellow card as well. Well, that's needless. That might well be frustration as well. And he needs to cool it down here. He does not want to talk himself into a needless suspension. That's the whole reason that Kane's not on the pitch. They know obviously that the quarterfinals are coming. And he does not look happy. Wince on the face of the goalkeeper as well. Oh, you can see instantly that he had felt something and he's still going to receive the treatment. The man who joined Stade Malien back in 2022. He's never played for Mali, but has been called up a few times. Samson Adamo on the right of your screen in the white shirt, the competition's director for the Confederation of African Football. And well, there are a host of high-ranking officials from CAF in town in Tanzania this week as they've inspected the country's readiness to host the Africa Cup of Nations, or AFCON, next year. From Panzu, and this was a chance that we saw earlier when Ura forcing the save from Traore hit the post. But the CAF president, Patrice Motsepe, was speaking to the media yesterday, saying that he felt the preparations here were going generally well. He suggested that it may well be that Tanzania hosts the opening game of the 2027 AFCON. Although he then felt as if he had possibly spoken a little bit early, was advised that talks were still going on. And it gives some indication of the thinking. And if Tanzania hosts the opener, well, will it be Uganda, will it be Kenya who get to stage the grand finale? So 3 countries host just as they did last year when staging the African Nations Championship as a warm-up event. In case you missed the press conference yesterday as well involving Patrice Motsepe, well, one of the key lines out of it was that he would like to see the AFCON expanded from 24 teams to 28. It would mean that over half the teams on the continent will qualify. The tournament's expanding and expanding in recent years, and it'll be interesting to see how that suggestion to make it a 28-team tournament is received. From Simba. Lucky not to go into the notebook either, the Ghanaian. Possible break on for Simba. Mwalimu needs support. Ura. Chama. Pazu. Kometa. Kometa again, that's another teasing delivery. And it needed to be cleared and it needed to be dealt with. Diarra did exactly that. Reading the threat, reading the danger, and ensuring that he got his head to it. Before there was any communication with N'Golo Traore, taking no chances. So Chama with the set piece once again, and again he doesn't beat the very first man. That's a waste from the Zambian. the way, that 29-year-old at the back for Simba, the vice skipper. Former South Africa international, there he is, just playing it back into Tanja. He was picked up in the transfer window as well, the goalkeeper. Number 1 for Niger. Brought in after a knee injury to first choice Guinean goalkeeper Musa Kamara. He needed replacing. There was some talk of trying to bring in Stanley Wabali, the Nigerian who caught the eye of the Africa Cup of Nations. Instead it was Tanja, 29-year-old, that they went for. Conte under a little bit of pressure. Deep forward by Kometa, that's nicely done. Koulibaly. Just being channeled into a cul-de-sac by Conte, who's done really well there. Malien. Koulibaly again. Cannot go past his man. Switch of play as Simba come forward again. Chama in the middle. And that's a crunching challenge coming in from Chalo to turn that behind for a corner. With the opportunity to try and further their advantage. Chama goes short on this occasion. Mpanzu hoisting it in, just needs a touch, and it's Traore who gets the punch. Asking where his support was, where was the defence? There's a break on here. And can they end the half just as they began it? Mpanzu charging forward, just knocked off it as well. Combination of two Stade Malien players getting that away, and then Conte conceding the free kick. Samoa, who's not been afraid himself to put in some challenges. Having a little word with the referee. Somebody suggesting that Conte should be receiving something a little bit more. He'll be happy with what he's seen. Steve Barker, a lot more fluency about Simba than we saw in Angola last week when they drew 1-1 with Petro, but unsurprisingly as well, Shamari Kapombe set off just before half-time in that game, and the 10 men of Simba did really well to stay in the game, keep it 1-0, because the Angola scored early on, just 30 minutes, and then they struck late, Simba, to rescue a point. Well, suggestions that might have come off the arm of Diarra. That's from the crowd rather than anyone on the pitch. Kometa. Get another throw. forward is Kagoma, enjoying the challenge from Awine. That'll be a corner to Simba. Good run, a good covering play from Francis Awine. Just 19 years of age, the Ghanaian fullback. Turns 22 next weekend. Regular in the group phase of this competition for Stade Malien and Awine. They go deep in this occasion to Roy with the header. He cannot keep it on target, but put it back from whence it came. Troy, very interested at times, and then very satisfied that that was going comfortably wide. And it stays a simple one. Stade Malien 0. And as we approach first half stoppage time, 3 minutes to be added. The visitors are staring at their first defeat of this campaign. This their 10th match so far. A reminder, of course, that this is the first time ever that Stade Malien have made it to the group phase of the Champions League. At the 19th time of asking, striker goal. Deflected behind by Conte. 1-8 against the other. Hammer with the strike, and he hit it well as well. So the possibility of using this to get themselves level just before the break. Headed away by Duryea. He goes down on the floor, but play continues. Touch forward to Walimu. And the youngster just knocked off it and Bode plays it safe and goes home. So yes, their first appearance, and well, possibly, it may be the case that their supporters say it's been worth the wait, because to make it through with a game to spare, given that it is your maiden participation at this phase of the competition, is hugely impressive from Stade Malien. They were in pot 4 in the group, the weakest of the seeds, effectively. And nonetheless, they will be top of the pile. The other game going on at present as well, Esperance against Petro. A vital tie. Esperance, who was smarting from that defeat against Stade Malien last weekend. Daouda Koulibaly with the goal. Well, before they had even properly got home, Esperance sacked their coach, Kanzari, brought in an interim. And that's despite the fact that they need at least a point against Petro today to be sure of making it into the knockout phase. It would be a major shock if the Tunisian side were unable to make it through. But there goes the half-time whistle, and it's one that Simba will reflect on with far more happiness and joy than they have many periods in this Group D campaign so far. And he set Ura off the back of his equalising goal for the 10 men of Simba last weekend in Angola. This time giving 11 men the lead. Stroking home from close range really early on. He then hit the post shortly after. Stade Malien, well, they've had their moments, but few clear-cut opportunities, meaning that at the break in Tanzania, it is Simba 1, Stade Malien 0.
Mabingwa. Fungus. Leta water resistance mbili. Dozi yake ni moja mara moja. Leta bundi ya tiles. Hii ni moja mara moja. Kibandika ibanduka. Leta report ya ndani. Tatu. Dozi yake mara moja. Kisha nilichanganya bakteria hapa. Ina fungus, coffee, chini, buni.
Walrus high strength water resistant. Kiboko ya fungus na chumvi. Walrus special for interior wall. Kubandika mikanda na kuleta muonekano wa kifahari zaidi. Walrus ceramic tiles adhesive. Fundi bora ya tiles kwa uimara, salama na muonekano wa kudumu. Wasiliana na 0674 101 111. Walrus, tujenge pamoja.
Meli iliyobeba mizigo ya nchini cargo ikitokea China imewasili salama bandari ya Dar es Salaam.
Imechukua siku 28 tu kutoa mzigo China mpaka Tanzania.
GNM Cargo, kampuni bora ya kusafirisha mizigo kwa njia ya maji kutokea China mpaka Tanzania kwa siku 28 tu. Tunasafirisha mizigo ya loose cargo na full container. Tunapatikana Dar es Salaam, Kariakoo, mtaa wa Msimbazi. Kwa mawasiliano zaidi, piga simu namba 0677 069193 au 0677 066551. Kwa mawasiliano zaidi, tembelea kurasa zetu za kijamii @GNM Cargo Limited.
GNM Cargo, tunazingatia usalama, uharaka na bei nafuu. GNM Cargo, jabari la bahari.
Watu nakaa site hadi usiku kumbe ni wezi. Wewe baba nimekukosea nini wewe? Habari zako nimezisikia. Ya habari zetu zimesambaa jombo la wetu. Sio bora unatumia vitu ambavyo hatujakubaliana. Bora hata yule ana kitu. Hebu niambie changamoto ni nini kwenye hii site?
Tunadanganywa. Muda wa kula tunajua nyama ni tatu, zinakuja mbili. Cheki nilivyoisha.
Boy kapongoroka. Angalia mnavyonifanyia kazi mpaka ukuta wangu unapinda.
Ni mbichi, ukikauka hapo na nyoka wenyewe.
Hebu naomba mnisikilize wewe mkandarasi. Naomba wote muondoke mpaka mtakapopata suluhisho. Niputi ipi itaskimu kuta wangu ambao ni bora. Naomba muondoke.
Nishaelewa.
Ili kupata matokeo mazuri katika skimming na mng'ao halisi wa ukuta wako, tumia White Skim Wall Put iliyo na uwezo wa kukinga ukuta wako dhidi ya fungus na unyevunyevu. White Skim Wall Put inapatikana maduka yote ya vifaa vya ujenzi Tanzania. White Skim Wall Put, mfalme wa ukuta.
The Amazon College sasa kinapatikana Mbeya, Dodoma, Arusha na Dar es Salaam. The Amazon College Mbeya, tupo Kabwe, tunatazamana na stendi ya Kabwe. The Amazon College Dodoma, tupo Majengo sokoni, barabara ya Majengo. The Amazon College Arusha, tupo Mianzini. The Amazon College Dar es Salaam, tupo Mbagala rangi tatu, Ukonga Banana, Mbezi Luis, Tegeta Kibaoni, Makumbusho sokoni na Kibaha. Chuo kimesajiliwa na NACTIVATE kutoa kozi zifuatazo: Computer Application Courses, Secretarial and Office Management, Hotel Management and Services Operation, Hotel Food and Beverage Services and Sales, Hotel Food Production and Cookery, yani upishi, Hotel Housekeeping and Laundry, Hotel Front Offices and Reception, Tour Guide and Travel, Hairdressing and Beauty, mafunzo ya udereva, kozi ya Kiingereza cha kuongea na kuandika. Piga simu nambari 0692 25 24 80 au 0610 16 31 15. The Amazon College, tupo kwa ajili yako.
Hivyo ndivyo Oura alivyoiandikia Simba Sports Club goli pekee kwenye dakika 45 za kipindi cha kwanza, na ndilo ambalo limedumu licha ya nafasi nyingi kweli ambazo pengine zingewafanya Simba kuondoka wakiwa na hesabu magoli zaidi ya mawili. 45 zimekamilika, hivyo Simba akiwa mbele. Nini ambacho kitatokea kipindi cha pili? Lakini je, kipindi cha kwanza kiufundi nini ambacho tumekishuhudia na tafsiri yake? Nipo na jopo la wachambuzi hapa. Kwanza nipo na Godlisten Muro, mchambuzi wa masuala ya soka, lakini pia Ramadhani Mbonduke. Lakini usisahau pia kwamba nipo na kocha ama mwalimu mwandamizi wa muda mrefu kweli kwenye soka la Tanzania, Habib Kondo, kizungumza naye mawili matatu. Habib, kwenye hichi ambacho amechofanya Simba kipindi cha kwanza, wako mbele kwa goli 1-0, lakini Oura amefunga goli zuri sana na ni kama limedhihirisha uwezo wake. Mbali na kujadili uwezo wa Oura kwenye hili, nini cha kiufundi uliking'amua kwenye goli ambalo Simba amepata la kuongoza mpaka sasa?
Kwenye goli nafasi tumepatikana na mfungaji katengeneza utulivu kuona kwamba wapi kuna nafasi ya kuupitisha mpira wangu ili uweze kuwa goli, kwa sababu ilikuwa dead goal ama set play ya kona, mpira umechezwa mara mbili, mpanzu kafanya kama setting, mpira alikuwa anataka kumiliki mwenyewe, lakini ndio automatically kawa setting tena kwa Simba mwalimu automatically kawa setting tena kwa nani Oura. Kwa hiyo akafunga goli zuri, katengeneza utulivu kwa sababu mpira ume bounce kwake, akaangalia eneo gani la kuweza kupeleka mpira ili iweze kuwa goli na amefanikiwa kufunga goli. Lakini ukiondoa hilo, ni Simba ni timu imecheza vizuri kwenye dakika 45. Unaona kabisa watu wako makini katika mpira, kwa maana kwamba kila jambo anahakikisha kwamba linakwenda vizuri kuanzia nyuma kwenye back four kuja kwenye midfield kwenda kwenye watu wa kumalizia. Unaona kianza build up from the back, mpira unatoka unaingia ndani katikati unafika kwa washambuliaji. Na kingine unaona kabisa kama mechi wanahitaji, kama tulivyozungumza mwanzo, kweli wanataka kurudisha heshima kwa washabiki wao na kurudisha starehe hiyo kwa washabiki wao. Unaona jinsi wanavyojituma kwenye hii mechi, kama vile wakishinda mechi wao ndo wanapata nafasi yote ya uwa.
Kuna attempt ambayo Oura amefanya ya kwanza imezaa bao, kuna attempt ya pili imekula nguzo. Kwa uwezo wake na ni ingizo la dirisha dogo, anapaswa kuwa mjadala.
Yes, kwa wachezaji walioingia dirisha dogo nilitangulia kusema tokea mwanzo. Hao ndio Simba walipaswa kuwasajili wachezaji tokea kwenye dirisha kubwa. Na kama ungesajili wachezaji toka kwenye dirisha kubwa, basi pengine mechi leo walikuwa wanacheza kukamilisha, wao wakiwa tayari walishavuka kwenye hii hatua hii kwenda kwenye hatua nyingine. Kwa hiyo wachezaji wote ambao wameingia kwenye dirisha dogo, tukiwaangalia tokea mechi za kimataifa wakicheza mechi ya nyumbani, wamecheza mechi na KMC, tumeona uwezo wao. Huyu mchezaji ana uwezo mkubwa. Yaani unaona kabisa anafanania na Clatous Chama. Ni wachezaji ambao watulivu katika mchezo, anahakikisha kabisa mpira huu unakwenda sehemu gani ambayo itakuwa iko sawa sawa. Umeona ule mpira ambao alikuwa kajaribu kukaa nao ndani ya box, hapo. Hilo alikuwa anamfunga tayari ile goalkeeper. Aliona ile nafasi iko wazi, lakini target ndio kidogo imemwangusha kwenda ule mpira umeenda kugusa chuma, lakini alikuwa tayari anamfunga. Na pale ingekuwa na mashaka ule mpira wa kwanza ingepiga ingebagua watu, lakini katengeneza utulivu kuona kwamba lazima niangalie wapi kwenye nafasi ambayo naweza nikaupeleka mpira nikaweza kufunga. Kwa hiyo Simba wamecheza vizuri ndani dakika 45, wamecreate nafasi 4. Lakini moja ndio wamepata kuitumia. Moja ya Chama iliona ilikuwa inawapesa, lakini Chama unajua fundi zaidi yani ufundi umepitiliza. Kwa hiyo katengeneza utulivu mkubwa kiasi ambacho target yake haikuwa nzuri kwenye kuupitisha mpira ili iweze kuwa goli. Nafasi nyingine tena amepata Selman Mwalimu. Haikuwa nafasi, lakini ndio nafasi zenyewe katika mpira. Nafasi ile ndogo ndio inatakiwa iwe kubwa. Kwa hiyo alikuwa anafunga pia ule mpira ule bounce ambao ulikuwa umerudi kutoka goalkeeper.
Wakati tunazungumza nafasi ambazo Simba angeweza kuzifanya kuwa magoli, lakini haijawa hivyo, na mpaka sasa kwenye scoreboard ni goli moja pekee. Unadhani nini kilikuwa kinakosekana?
Nafikiri kwa mfano kama hii nafasi ya Chama kidogo ilikuwa ni full chance. Ilikuwa ni nafasi ambayo ana space ya kutosha ya kuangalia sehemu ya kupeleka mpira. Amechagua kubuuza mpira kwenye nyasi, lakini goalkeeper alikuwa kwenye position sahihi. Hii bao, unajua wakati Kola alizungumza kwenye set piece, angalia goalkeeper kwa maana ya Ngolo Traore alipotoka. Anatoka kwenye mahesabu kwa sababu kweli kona imepigwa kwenye sita. Kwenye sita goalkeeper hawezi kaa kwenye goal line. Lakini mbele anakutana na players wake, defenders wawili wana futi 6, wamemzuia asiucheze mpira. Kilichotokea of course akapishana nao. Nimeona crosses nyingi zinazoenda kwenye goal la Stade Malien. Goalkeeper anatoka afu anaipishana na mipira. Mara 3 wamefanya hivyo. Inawezekana kwenye knockout wanatakiwa kuwa makini sana. Of course kwenye hizo chance ambazo Ken umeuliza, kwa mfano kama hii ilikuwa ni clear chance ambayo Chama angeweza kwenye eneo lake, amekuwa akifanya makubwa kwenye eneo hilo. Aliwahi kufunga bao kwenye eneo hilo dhidi ya AS Vita Club msimu wa 2018-19, bao ambalo lilipeleka Simba hatua robo finali. Lakini angalia chance nyingine ni hii hapa ambayo ilikuwa one of the best kwenye mchezo. Nafikiri nyingine ni ile ya Selman Mwalimu ambayo ilikuwa inahitaji tu utulivu. Nafikiri ni issue tu ya ufanisi wa kubadilisha ile nafasi.
Kwa hicho ambacho kimeonekana kwenye 45 za kwanza, ukiacha goli, ukiacha chance ambazo Simba wamezitengeneza lakini hawajaweza kuzitumia kuwa ama kupata chochote, kuna nyakati ambazo pia Stade Malien walikuwa wanakumbusha Simba kwamba mkikaa vibaya kuna kitu tunaweza kufanya. Kuna dalili yoyote ya tofauti kutoka kwao kwa namna ambavyo mwaona?
Sasa Simba bahati mbaya sana, hata mechi ambazo tunaona matokeo ya kufungwa sare zipo ambazo kipindi cha kwanza mcheza kama hivi ambapo wamejinyima wenyewe nafasi, kwa sababu Simba mpaka sasa wamekosa nafasi za wazi kabla mechi, nafasi 6. Sasa kipindi cha kwanza, kwa mfano mechi dhidi ya Stade de Tunis ilikuwa hivi wamekamata, wanaongoza mabao mawili. Leo hapo wamejinyima wenyewe, walikuwa wanapaswa kuwa na mabao mawili matatu. Tumeona hapa hizo replay unaziona. Sasa kipindi cha pili watarudi vipi? Kwamba wakiendeleza hicho kilichoonyesha kipindi cha kwanza, kuna uwezekano wakaongeza bao au mabao, kwa sababu tishio hilo unalosema katika dakika 45 za kipindi cha kwanza hakukuwa kivile, kwa sababu hiyo defensive organization pale Rushain De Rock na wenzake Ismail Olivier Toure wamekuwa vizuri na jibu sana sana. Zile ambazo zilionekana ni hatari kwao ni pale ambapo wao waliamua kucheza back pass bila mawasiliano mazuri na kipa. Ndizo ambazo katika dakika 45 za kipindi cha kwanza nimeona, lakini kwa kiasi kikubwa wamedhibiti kabisa, wamepoteza, na chanzo chake ni kuanzia eneo la kati. Umuoni Belo, umuoni Diallo, umuoni Amanja Sui, wameshikwa kiasi kwamba huduma kwenda kwa Simpara Zuman zilikuwa zimekosekana dakika 45 za kipindi cha kwanza. Kwa hiyo eneo la kati, ulinzi wa Simba ulicheza vizuri dakika hizo 45. Mbele wamejinyima wenyewe fursa zile ambazo walitengeneza kuweka mpira wavune, lakini pia kwa mpanzo bila shaka kocha atazungumza naye, asifikirie kufanya makubwa sana, afanye vitu rahisi. Kuna wakati mwingine wenzake amefungua, yeye anataka dribble aende nao, kana kwamba anataka kurudisha labda hadhi katika siku mbili tatu hizi. Unaona kama ukidao kwa Nisetiura, unajua wachezaji nao binadamu kila anachofanya Nisetiura ndicho mpanzo alizoeleka huwa anafanya, lakini hivi karibuni amedrop. Sasa kwenye mechi kama hii ataka kuonyesha kocha alivyokuwa royal naye mpambanaji, wakati mwingine anapitiliza. Nafikiri atakuwa azungumze naye doze afanye vitu kwa urahisi, kwa sababu akiwa anashirikiana na wenzake vizuri wanacheza mazingira ya kuweza kufunga.
Mwalimu Habib Kondo, mwalimu mwenzako Baka pasina shaka atakuwa na kibarua kizito kipindi cha pili. Kwanza kuzuia, kwa sababu ana kumbukumbu ambayo si nzuri kwenye mechi ya nyumbani iliyopita. Kwa hiyo kuzuia, kulinda alichonacho, lakini pia wakati wanaendelea kushambulia. Kwa sekunde chache, nini mpango sahihi kipindi cha pili kwa Simba?
Kikubwa kwanza kuangalia kwenye defensive, kwa sababu kama game plan ilikuwa ni kushinda mchezo, saizi hapa walishashinda mchezo. Kwa hiyo kikubwa ni 45 za pili kwanza kuangalia wanapokuwa hawana mpira lazima na namba kubwa kwenye defense. Kwa hiyo kisha kwanza kuangalia kwenye defense, halafu baadaye tutashambuliaje kuona kama tunaweza tukaongeza goli jingine. Lakini akiendelea kuifungua timu hivyo, huyu naye alishaangalia dakika 45 za kwanza timu yake ilikosea wapi, na akija sasa hivi kama anataka kushinda mchezo atakuja kucheza tofauti na alivyocheza kipindi cha kwanza. Kwa hiyo ukuta Simba waka create wenyewe nafasi za kufungwa, wakajahusia kama mechi iliyopita wameongoza goli 2 baadaye goli 2 zikarudi. Kwa hiyo cha kwanza kuangalia defensive, nini cha kufanya. Kama kuna watu nje wazuri kwenye kunyang'anya mipira, basi ni time yao sasa kuingia ndani kwenda kufanya hiyo kazi.
Shukrani sana mwalimu Habib Kondo, shukrani sana Ramadhan Bwaduke, shukrani sana Godlisten Muro. Kennedy Moses, moja kwa moja turejee Benjamin Mkapa Dar es Salaam kwa ajili ya kutazama simulizi ya 45 za pili na Ayubu Injo. Benjamin Mkapa Dar es Salaam kwa ajili ya kutazama simulizi ya 45 za pili na Ayubu Injo.
Sawa kwa ajili ya kwenda kukamilisha dakika 45 zilizosalia. Alassane Kante. Timu zote mbili zimerejea uwanjani na hakuna mabadiliko yoyote ambayo yamefanyika. Sehemu ya bench kwa upande wa Simba wakiwa na pengine kutumia mchezo huu kuamka pale ambapo wameanguka na kujipanga kwa nyakati ijayo. Karibu tena kwenye kipindi cha pili kukamilisha mchezo wa hatua ya makundi. Simba dhidi ya Stade Malien. Stade Malien kutoka Mali. Bado kuna nami Ayubu Injo. Tuko wote mpaka mwisho wa mchezo, wakati ambao anaweka mpira ndani huku. Unatolewa nje. Na kwa goal kick. Wanapata goal kick Simba, mpira ambao ulitolewa na mshambuliaji Zuman Simpara. Wameanza kwa kasi, pengine kutaka kurejesha bao kama walivyoshtukizwa wao dakika ya 4 tu na Anise Ura kuweka mpira kwenye net. Simba bado yuko na mpira, mshambuliaji wa Stade Malien anapoteza mpira. Elimpanzu Kante rejesha mpira nyuma kwa Rusha Deriek. Ismail Ture Chama Kratus. Ura anapewa tena, Ura anakontrol mpira, anaondoka yeye mwenyewe. Anise David Kameta Luchu anampa Ura. Anise, what a save! Fanya save nzuri sana mlinda mlango Ngolo Traore, amepimwa kwa kipimo ambacho hakukitegemea. David Kameta kaiacha, labda alidhani kuna pasi itapigwa, alilazimishwa kufungua mkono wake wa kushoto kuucheza ule mpira. What a save! Save nzuri sana anaifanya, hataki kuruhusu bao jingine kwenye neti zake. Inaonekana amepata shida kwenye maeneo ya mbavu. Anise Ura ameongeza nguvu kubwa sana kwenye kikosi cha Simba, nyota ambaye amesajiliwa dirisha dogo, na kile kilichotazamiwa kinaonekana kufa kufana. Maumivu ya Ngolo Traore yanamnyanyua kwenye benchi, mlinda mlango wa akiba kwenda kupasha, ikishindikana yeye awe tayari kuchukua nafasi. Hii hapo Anise Ura alimtegea David Kameta. David alitazama ya kwanza, ya pili, kama anapiga akaicheza pasi nyingine kwa Anise Ura ambaye alipeleka na kipa akaicheza.
Well, despite what the graphic said, it is actually Ligi. He scored the goal. Just when we saw the number 29 on the back of his shirt. The score of the previous match between these two teams was 1-1. And if Petro Lavanda were to equalise, well, that would mean the score is 1-1 in both games. They're identical in their head-to-head in terms of points, goal difference, and goals scored, including away goals. And if that's the case, the criteria opens up to all group games. That would be advantage to Esperance because they have a better goal difference. Giovanni. Headed by Pinto. Control it by his captain, Eddie Afonso. He may have suffered some unfair challenges. Shammer again. Panzu. Conte. To play back into Panzu. Forced a little wide. They're then brought down to the dismay of Bode. And still he's rolling around at Panzu, the Congolese. That's from the Democratic Republic of Congo over the Congo Brazzaville. He just kicked him inadvertently. Was it with the right or was it with the left? The left was a little bit more wild than the one with the right. So
to feeling the effects of that knock. Shama will play this in again. He goes for goal, Shama. Comfortably saved in the end by Traore, who instantly looks to bring in Koulibaly. Jallo. And still Jallo, waiting for bodies to come in, trying to get the cross into the middle. Moves for Jallo. That should be easy enough for Tanja. Francis Owino. Well, he gets the thumbs up from Daouda Koulibaly. Straight out in to touch. That's nicely through. Oh, that's brilliant as well from Mwalimu. Mpanzu. Still Mpanzu. Dips it in, up they go. Well, he was offside in any case, Selemani Mwalimu. But it was a really nicely worked move from Simba once again. Knocking it around, going from side to side and then working the cross. Well, there really wasn't much in it at all. Jara, wearing number 5 arguably, playing Mwalimu on. Stade Malien have really made a mockery, not just of the fact that they were the bottom seed in the group out of pot 4, but also last season when they competed in the Confederation Cup. They finished bottom of their group and now a step up. They have really properly stepped up. As the free kick goes against them. Chama for Urura. Cleared away by Boubacar Habikoye. And Olivier Toure just safely back to his goalkeeper. Durick will try and nudge this away and on the floor. The reaction is one of shock. I don't think that's the sound of Durick on the floor, but the Stade Malien player absolutely furious that that got given against him. Jallo with the challenge. Jallo with a guttural roar. Durick receiving treatment again. He joined Simba from Mamelodi Sundowns in July of last year, and he had been with the South Africans since 2021, so plenty of experience at this level. We're going deep into the competition, of course. Sundawana, champions in 2016. again. Sundowns to the knockout stage there. They've missed just one in the last 10-11 campaigns of getting into the knockout phase. And they had a big game today against MC Alger, the Algerians, and notably the return of their former coach, Rulani Mokwena. A big build-up to the game, and it was the Algerians who were in the box seat ahead of it, even though they were playing in Pretoria, South Africa. They just needed a draw. Sundowns had to win, and Sundowns found the win. A 2-0 victory, ensuring that they finished second in the group behind Al Hilal, who also won today. Group C was one where all 4 teams ahead of kickoff earlier today is the first group to finish all 6 of its games in the group phase. And all 4 teams, as I said, could have gone through. They also include Saint Eloi Lupopo of the Democratic Republic of Congo. They were beaten by Al Hilal, who topped the pile, with Sundowns second and MC Alger missing out courtesy of that defeat in South Africa. Tonight it is the turn of Group A to conclude, and Pyramids, the reigning champions, already through from that group. Rivers United, the Nigerians, already out, and that single spot in their knockouts will go to either RS Berkane of Morocco or Power Dynamos of Zambia, who have risen from the dead in that group to give themselves a chance. This is really nice from Stade Malien. Jallo tried to play it into the middle, and it's cut out by Nixon Kubabage. Tomorrow, by the way, will be Group B that concludes. That's the only one of the 4 groups that will finish tomorrow. The other 3 finishing today, including this Group D. It very much looks as though Esperance will be making it through to join Stade Malien in next month's quarterfinals. Kegoma, going into the sky. It's headed back with interest as well. Francis Owine. Jallo. Well, Stade Malien do have a long-standing record in this competition. They were in one of the very earliest finals way back in 1965. When this competition was really in its infancy, Malien having straight offside. They reached the final of what was then the Africa Cup of Champions clubs, and they were beaten in the final by Oryx Douala of Cameroon. They do as well, of course, bring silverware from some second-tier competitions, notably the Confederation Cup, with Stade Malien having won that in 2009. In the Champions League era, they have never done so well. One of 2 dominant clubs in Malien football, along with Joliva, who appeared in the Champions League last season and found it really tough going, finishing bottom of their group. And a lot of credit has to go to Mauriel Joy, the Cameroonian in charge of Stade Malien, appointed in August, brought in a lot of players from his homeland. And he has done an absolutely remarkable job. Deserves huge credit, a man who was credited with bringing through the likes of Jeremy and Achille Weber, while in his homeland in Cameroon he's won league titles in Nouadhibou, in Mauritania with SE Nouadhibou. Also in Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast as well. And now he is bringing his brand of expertise to Stade Malien, and the question is just how far will they be able to go. Shallow down in the area, wing finger wagging from the Malawian referee. There wasn't any real serious appeal from Jallo. And that will take the corner. Stade Malien trying to rescue their unbeaten record. Well, the header was good from Jara, but no one there to pick up on it. Well, we saw in the first half that Ngolo Traore and had a little bit of discomfort when trying to prevent a free kick coming in. And now he is going to be missing his first minutes of this entire campaign. Which gives the opportunity to shake the seat. So come on. Been on the bench for every single game of the campaign so far. See, the 33-year-old. He is finally on at the 10th time of asking. And has played in this competition before, as well as the Confederation Cup. In fact, if you go back 15 years, the 2010-11 season with Joliba was the first time Sheikh C played in the CAF Champions League. He's been waiting a while. Jallo with the effort, and Jallo can't find the power. Can't find the clearance. Bode. Headed away. Bode misreads it. Hello can't bring it down. Hamel goes down but doesn't win that free kick. That's nicely played from Chama. Well, he's not had too much to celebrate since he's been in charge of the side. This would be a most welcome scalp if he can see it through. Steve Barker. Striker goal again. Oh, that's a really good save and a terrific effort as well. Well, it needed to be a really good strike to even make it in any way difficult for Tangerine goal. And look at this. Terrific hit. Real power as well. And Kane showing us what he is all about, the Cameroonian. And with dead-eye accuracy like that, well, little surprise he's got the goals he has so far in this campaign. Come on. Outswinger. feet now. Nicely worked. Can they find some space? They can. Streaming forward, Simba. Ura. Up against Jallo. Turning Jallo. And then finding a decent amount of space over on that right hand side as well. Lots of space in the middle. Mwalimu cannot convert. Well, he would have been flagged offside in any case. And that was a super ball into him. Well, look at that. A mile offside. Not entirely sure what he was doing and why he wasn't looking across the line. He couldn't convert it in any case, the 20-year-old. That's a very promising opportunity. Nicely played by Simba once again. Last season's Confederation Cup campaign must feel like a long time ago. Relative highs and lows, the roller coaster of playing in African football. Diarra pulled down, well, whistle to the referee's lips, but he took a little bit of time to work out whether there was any advantage. Got there in the end. Abraham also set to come on, the attacking midfielder, drops for today's game. He's slightly blind. Away, and Bello hoping to hit it from distance and not really catching it either. Amadou Bello, his first season with the club, the Cameroonian. A very composed figure in the middle of the park. Through a lot of work alongside Hamon. Tanja. 30 caps for Niger since his debut in 2022. Possibly on the verge of his first clean sheet in the group. Here come some of the substitutions. Jospin Luemba will be coming on for Alassane Conte. And Morris, Abraham. There's also Panzu. Luemba, an attacking midfielder, just 21 years of age. Abraham as well, offensively minded and not on shoulder. Morris Abraham, just 22. He's played pretty regularly the Tanzania international for Simba so far this season, but yet to make an assist or score a goal. Can he change that in that 20 minutes or so that remain this game in the final quarter? Stade Malien possibly about to relinquish their unbeaten campaign right to the death, but they had done the serious work they needed to do so already. Really well flicked on by Simpara. No one was there to profit. touch from Hamon to keep up with Stade Malien. Okay. Jallo. Nicely played by Jallo. Bode. Well, he's done really well as well. Over two, but Stade Malien still have it. Can they get the shot away? They cannot. Simba bring it away. Passing through the lines as well. Luemba. Looking to play it into Morris, but he didn't connect, but doesn't really cost Simba. This goes back to Tanja. Well, he would have done had it not been picked up. Durin for South Africa international. Shama looking for Urura. It's misguided. The Razor attempted already pass. Just backing himself to go past Luemba, which he comfortably did. Koulibaly. Just needed a little less on that return pass to him from McKay. The showboating coming out and delighting the home fans. A win at home this campaign. Is that going to change on that third and final home game? They lost the opener. Will it be third time lucky for the victory? The 3 points. Luemba from distance. Luemba unable to keep it down and unable to trouble Shakespeare. But interestingly, despite being on the bench, taking that captain's armband off of Gordon Traore. Well, it's just really that strike from McKay in the second half that Stade Malien have to show. Hamon in the first effort with an effort from a similar age, and that's really all they've managed to create so far. And they've made it through as group winners, scoring just 5 goals so far. But the key very much has been keeping things tight at the back. That's not going to trouble returns either. Very optimistic effort from a distance for Stade Malien, who brought a very, very threadbare squad here to Tanzania. And on this occasion, just 5 substitutes on the bench would suggest that some members of the squad are fatigued, want to stay home in Mali. It's obviously been a fairly full-on 4-week period in the Champions League with games going on every weekend, up to and including this one since mid-January. And that's wisely an opportunity for the coaching staff and the club management just to give some players a little bit of a break and some time off. Especially with the business end of the season to come, not just in the Champions League, but also in the Malien League as well. Stade Malien lead the table with games in hand, and they'll be very much looking to win those and defend the crown that they won last year there. First title in 4 years after dethroning their great rivals, Joliba. Can they use this set piece as the clock ticks its way towards the 90-minute mark? Some power in there, Koulibaly as well, and Kang of course. So to Diarra from the back. And it cleared away on the overhead. And it was ambitious. And they lacked the power because it really went into the ground. With the direct at Tanja. Simparo was not an easy effort at all, but pretty inventive. Just needed to catch it a little bit earlier to keep it far more airborne than just bouncing down into the ground. Bello. Bode. Back to Bello, who didn't read the pass. Simba had the throw. Isa, the latest to come on, and Simparo the pass unable to add to the goals he got in the preliminary round. Bode muscled off it by a combination of Ura and Mwalimu. Simba have been impressive in recent times in African competition, but this season has really gone away from them. They lost their first 3 games in the group, and then they managed to finally stop the rot on match day 4. At home to Esperance, where drawing 2-2. They did lead 2-0. Only to allow the Tunisians to come back. At least they stopped the rot of successive defeaters. Duroka exaggerates the pull on him. And then they went to Angola and got that really hard-earned point against Petro. Just as impressive in its own way as the one against Esperance. And now just over 10 minutes away from inflicting the first defeat of the campaign for that man. It is still Esperance 1, Petro 0 in the other game. Beginning to know the quarter-finalists. Shama. That's well read. Right, Kigoma. Nicely done. He's done really well there as well. Ura to hold on to that with 2 players literally at his heels. tried a few times, Malien, but as I said earlier, he's a young man. This could well be a corner for Stade Malien, and that's conceded very, very cheaply. Toure. And the points about Malien being that he will only learn and work on that as time goes by. So time running out for the Malians if they are to finish the campaign, the group phase unbeaten. In swinger again, deep this time. Remember away. And the volley comes back in and not caught at all. Tanja. And that way the goalkeepers do. Diving onto the ball and taking his time. Run on this occasion, and that's not come off either when King unable to gather. Tanja. Very much in possession of the ball. Well, that's late as well. Well, that'll be a free kick to Simba. Simba, as we know, are out, but will they be joined by young Africans tomorrow in exiting the competition? Or will Yanga be able to squeeze through in Group B? They have to win their final game at home to JS Kabylie, who are already eliminated and yes to win a game in the competition. So Maliemu's races run. Soa. Here's the man who comes on with just under 7 minutes to play. Jonathan Soa. Great swap for Malien as Jallo goes into the book, and that is costly. Just check that this is going Jallo's way, or does it go Bode's way? If it goes Bode's way, it's okay. Jallo's on 2 yellow cards, so would miss the first leg of the first knockout game. Well, Bode also on 2 yellow cards, so there was the challenge from Bode. For a moment as though he issued it to Jallo, and that will be a serious blow to Stade Malien. He was back at a 25-year-old the player court. He joined the club last month, the 25-year-old from Singida Black Stars. He had already played some Confederation Cup football earlier this campaign, so both competitions in one season. Well, it's Jallo, the man who is marked as getting that yellow, so he is out of the next game. Here he is, Jallo. Played every group phase stage game of the 29-year-old Jallo, so that will require a tactical tweak. Phases finally get underway, which will be in a month's time. The first legs taking place right in the middle of March, and then the second leg just a week later, the semis in April, and the final 2-legged in May. Will Pyramids be there to defend their crown, or somebody rise up to challenge them, because the Egyptians have looked the strongest side in the competition so far, but it's not how you begin, it's how you finish, of course, and there's still a long way to go. by Koulibaly. A forward coming on for Hamon, a midfielder. A sign of the desperation of Stade Malien to try to find this goal. He's had just one Champions League appearance so far, Koulibaly. And it was a very late substitute against Petro on match day 3. And they won 2-0. He played just 1 minute. Well, he's got 3 on this occasion. He'll be very grateful for some of the experience. He was a regular last season in the Confederation Cup, but very little playing action this time around, the 23-year-old. Luemba. Taking his time, playing it through into Ura. Ura goes down, and Ura is the free kick. Well, Simba have the ball at exactly the right end of the pitch, as far as they're concerned. Jared just catching him on the right foot, as you can see. Well, he's worked very hard today, and he said, Ura. He's played in Qatar during his career, as well as South Africa and Finland. Started out in his homeland, Ivory Coast, where he won a fair few titles in ASEC, 4 leagues in all. Contested the CHAN, or African Nations Championship, in 2023 as well. Here's a Keng strike. By some distance. And even though it was from distance, Stade Malien's best effort of the day. Forcing out. Smart save from Tanja. It would have been a spectacular goal. Chama, who joined the club last month. What is his 3rd spell with Simba? And to deliver this again is trademark accuracy. How good is it with that one? Well, unable to find a teammate. Nicely played. Ura just waiting to come back on. Chama almost nutmegged for it. And they might well have been in. Okay. Koulibaly. Still Koulibaly with Issa in the middle. So no nonsense clearance coming in from Chama, the 34-year-old. Very experienced at this level, of course. Just looks full of running. It's the 90th minute, let's not forget, and still he looks as fresh as he did when he started, the 26-year-old. Works really hard, and a little surprise he gets the applause of Steve Barker for that work rate. Had a save to make since replacing Traore 15-20 minutes ago. Issa, the substitute, with the foul. So just over 3 minutes remain. He came through rounds 1 and 2 unscathed, Stade Malien, and this entire group phase. They might just be about to have their first defeat registered. against them. I think, though, they would have happily shaken your hand if this had been the deal offered to them right before match day one kicked off in late November. Finally something to cheer. Back to it. Forward to the substitute Soa. Does enough to draw the foul, draw the challenge. And Shema. Another opportunity. An opportunity and a chance for Simba to clinch this. Even though they finished bottom of the group and Stade Malien will top it, Simba have scored just as many goals in Group D as their Malian opponents, 5. It's just the goals against column that is so different for the two teams. 7 conceded by the Tanzanians. Now 2 by Stade Malien. It is 2-0 to Esperance against Petra now, so they are as good as through from the group. 5 minutes of additional time there, which they are now in. As we wait for the Malian referee to blow his whistle to signify the end of this game. And there it goes. Simba have won their first game in Group D and the 6th and final attempt, and in so doing they have inflicted the very first defeat of this entire Total Energies CAF Champions League campaign for Stade Malien. Not that the Malians will mind too much, because they had already booked their historic place in the knockout phase, the first Malian side ever to get that far in the Champions League era. It is Anicet Ura whose goal separated the sides. He needed just 4 minutes to follow on add to the goal that he scored on matchday 5 against Petro, sweeping home with Ogoro Traore well beaten, which means that Simba at least end with some positivity. Their first victory of the campaign. They end Group D with 5 points. Stade Malien finish with 11. And